Here's the truth. No one dares to tell you. The moment you stop needing her is the moment she starts needing you. Most men live their whole lives chasing women, begging for approval, sacrificing their peace just to be chosen, and yet, every time they do it, they lose attraction, they lose respect, and they lose themselves. Because here's what society never told you: you are the prize, not her. You, when you're calm, disciplined, building your mission, and walking with purpose, you become rare. And in a world full of desperate men, rare is power. In this video, we're going to break down why she needs you more than you need her, how men unknowingly give their power away, and how to reclaim it without games, without arrogance, and without ever lowering your standards. Stay with me, because once you understand this shift, you'll never look at relationships the same way again. Every man is born into a world already whispering a lie in his ear. The lie says, she is the prize. You must earn her. You must chase her. You must prove yourself worthy. From childhood, movies, music, teachers, even well-meaning parents feed this script into the male mind. They tell boys, be nice, be sweet, be romantic, bend over backwards, and maybe if you're lucky, she will pick you. But here's the truth. The moment you believe this lie, you begin losing before the game even starts. The origins of the lie. Think about the stories we were raised on. The fairy tales where the prince slays the dragon, risks his life, and fights for the princess who simply waits at the tower. The romantic comedies where the man makes a grand gesture, sings in the rain, or humiliates himself in front of the whole town to win her love. Even in school, boys are told to treat girls like queens without ever being told what makes a man a king. The result, generations of men convinced that their value is conditional, that unless a woman chooses them, they are incomplete. This conditioning runs so deep that even strong, capable men secretly carry it. They can build businesses, lift heavy weights, endure hardships. But the moment a woman shows interest, they flip into performer mode. They put her on a pedestal and place themselves below her. The damage of the lie. Why is this so destructive? Because it reverses the natural dynamic of attraction. Attraction is not built on desperation. It's built on value. And the man who chases communicates one thing above all: you are above me. I need you to validate me. The irony is brutal. The more a man chases, the less she wants him. Not because women are cruel, but because desperation is unattractive. It signals weakness. It says, my life is empty without you. My worth depends on you. And here's what most men never understand. A woman cannot respect a man who does not respect himself. If you need her more than she needs you, the dynamic is already broken. The silent exchange of power relationships always carry an invisible balance of power. It's not about domination or control. It's about who sets the frame, who defines the standard, who decides what the relationship revolves around. When a man chases, he hands her the frame. He says, you are the prize. You decide if I'm good enough. And from that moment forward, she holds the authority, That's why so many men end up anxious, insecure, reactive. They walk on eggshells, terrified of doing something wrong, because deep down, they know they gave her the power. She didn't steal it. He gave it away. The Stoic contrast. The Stoics would laugh at this modern script. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The modern man does the opposite. He places his worth in outside events, the text she sends, the smile she gives, the approval she withholds. He becomes a slave to her reactions. A Stoic man, however, remains centered. He knows his mission, his values, his direction. If a woman aligns with it, he chooses her. If she doesn't, he walks away. This is not arrogance. This is balance. And balance is what creates attraction. Real life picture. Picture two men. Both meet the same woman. The first man believes the lie. He floods her with attention, rearranges his schedule, showers her with compliments, and constantly checks if she's happy. At first, she smiles, but soon she grows cold. She feels no spark. Why? Because he gave her everything before she earned anything. He made himself too easy. The second man, he notices her beauty, but he doesn't bend. He continues his life, his work, his training. When they talk, he listens, but he evaluates. He doesn't flatter endlessly. He asks questions that reveal his standards. She feels curiosity, tension, even respect. Why? Because he didn't need her validation. He didn't chase. He chose. One man loses her interest by trying too hard. The other earns her respect by needing nothing. The psychological truth. Here's the uncomfortable truth. A man who chases a woman communicates insecurity. A man who chooses communicates abundance. Chasing says you are rare. I am not. Choosing says, I am rare. Let's see if you align with me. Women, on a subconscious level, feel this difference. They may not articulate it, but they respond to it. They lean in toward the man who seems least desperate. They test harder when they sense weakness. They respect the man who holds his frame no matter what, breaking the lie. So, how do you break free? First, accept this. You are the prize. Not by default, but by discipline. By the life you build, by the man you become. Second, shift your mindset. You don't chase women, you choose from women. That doesn't mean arrogance. It means clarity. You know who you are. You know what you want. You know what aligns with your mission. Third, stop performing for approval. Stop bending your standards. Stop apologizing for existing. A king doesn't beg his queen to notice him. He builds a kingdom so strong that she feels honored to enter it. The cost of believing the lie. Look around. You'll see men drained of energy, walking around, anxious, asking, what does she want now? You'll see men giving everything only to be told they're still not enough. You'll see men silencing their voice, suppressing their opinions, abandoning their purpose, all because they believed the lie. And what's the result? Resentment, heartbreak, a life wasted trying to please instead of a life built on purpose. The cost is not just lost attraction, it's lost self-respect. The new script. So here's the script you must adopt. I don't chase. I choose. I don't beg. I set standards. I don't lose myself in love. I bring myself fully into love. I am the prize when I live with discipline, strength, and purpose. This script flips everything. It places you back in the frame. It restores balance to the dynamic. It ensures that any relationship you enter is built on mutual respect, not desperation. The biggest lie men believe is that a woman completes them, that without her, they are half, that she is the prize, and he is lucky. The truth is sharper. You are already whole. When you chase, you lose. When you choose, you win. And once you understand this, everything changes. Because she doesn't need a man who bows to her. She needs a man who stands tall beside her. She doesn't need a performer. She needs a leader. She doesn't need you to give away your power. She needs you to hold it firmly, with quiet strength. That's the truth hidden behind the lie. And once you see it, you can never go back. This is the truth. Most men never realize she needs you more than you need her, not because you're superior, not because she's weak, but because in the deepest wiring of human psychology, the value a man brings is rare, irreplaceable, and far more difficult to replicate than what most men give themselves credit for. The rare commodity. Think about it. A woman's beauty, while powerful, is not rare. Every city, every social circle, every platform showcases thousands of beautiful faces. Attention comes easy to her. Compliments flood in daily. Messages fill her inbox. But a man who is stable, disciplined, purpose-driven, calm under pressure, that man is a rare commodity. And human nature craves what is rare. This is why when you master yourself, your mind, your emotions, your finances, your health, your presence becomes magnetic. She may attract attention easily, but she cannot easily attract a man who has mastered himself. This is why she needs you. The anchor in chaos. A woman's emotional world is often like the ocean, beautiful, deep, and full of movement. But movement can become turbulence. Emotion can become storm. In those moments, what does she look for? An anchor. A man who does not sink when the waves rise. If you crumble with her, she feels unsafe. If you panic when she tests you, she loses respect. If you fold under pressure, she doubts your strength. But if you remain calm, if you breathe through the storm, if you show stability when she feels chaos, something powerful happens. She leans into you. She trusts you. She needs you. Because in that calm, she feels protection, not physical alone, but emotional protection, the kind that says, no matter how wild the world feels, I am steady. That is what she craves. That is what she cannot create for herself. The leader of direction. Every strong relationship has direction. It is either led by the man, or it drifts aimlessly. Women admire men who know where they're going. not because she wants to be controlled, but because she wants to feel secure in the journey. If you lack vision, she feels exposed. If you lack standards, she feels adrift. If you lack drive, she begins to wonder, why should I follow him? But when you have clarity, when you live with mission, when your life has a trajectory beyond her, that's when she realizes you bring what she cannot: direction. She can add beauty, softness, nurturing, partnership, but she cannot give you a mission. She can only join it. That is why she needs you more. The frame she respects women test not because they hate you, but because they want to trust you. She needs to know if your frame can hold her energy, her moods, her challenges. If you collapse, she doesn't feel safe. If you overreact, she doesn't feel respected. But if you hold your frame with calm strength, she feels something deeper than attraction. She feels admiration. And admiration is the soil where respect grows. A woman can like you without respecting you. She can be attracted to you without admiring you. But without respect and admiration, her attraction will die. That's why she needs you more. Because only you can provide the frame she longs for. Not with words, but with presence. Not with demands, but with quiet strength. The reality of provision. Let's talk about a truth that modern culture often avoids. Provision. Provision isn't just money. It's stability. It's creating an environment where growth can happen. It's building a foundation of safety, of consistency, of progress. Yes, women can work. Yes, women can succeed. That's not the point. The point is that a man who builds structure, order, and legacy provides something deeper than a paycheck. He provides certainty, and certainty is a rare gift in a chaotic world. That's why she needs you, because you bring order where there could be disorder. You bring a future where there could be drifting. The Stoic reminder, Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." A woman knows this instinctively. She may not quote Stoic philosophy, but she feels it. She feels when you are master of yourself or slave to your emotions. She feels when you are grounded or reactive. She feels when you lead yourself or wait to be led. And when you are the man who has mastered himself, she knows she cannot replace you. She can find another admirer. She can find another source of attention. But she cannot easily find another man who embodies calm power. That is why she needs you more. The paradox of desire. Here's the paradox: the less you need her, the more she needs you. Not because you withdraw love, not because you manipulate, but because your independence proves your value. When she senses that you are whole without her, that your life is already full, that your purpose is already alive, she feels something magnetic. She realizes she is not your oxygen, she is your choice. And every woman, deep down, longs to be chosen by a man who doesn't need her to survive. That is the paradox of attraction. That is why she needs you more. The real-life picture. Imagine two scenarios. In the first, a man builds his life around her. He abandons his hobbies. He cancels his plans. He sacrifices his goals. He waits for her approval before he moves. At first, she enjoys the attention. But slowly, resentment grows. She feels the burden of being his purpose. She pulls away. In the second, a man includes her, but never abandons himself. He trains. He works. He studies. He leads. She adds to his life. But she does not define it. And every time she watches him stay consistent in his mission, she feels grateful. She feels safe. She feels the pull of his strength. The difference is everything. She doesn't need you because you're above her. She needs you because you bring what she cannot give herself. You bring calm to her chaos. You bring direction to her drifting. You bring standards to her testing. You bring certainty to her uncertainty. And when you live as a man with discipline, purpose, and emotional strength, you become the one thing she cannot replace: a foundation. That is why she needs you more than you need her. And the moment you see this, not with arrogance, but with clarity, you stop chasing. You stop begging. You stop performing. You simply stand. And when you stand, she leans in. Because deep down, she knows you are the prize. Power in relationships is not about domination. It's not about control. It's about influence. About who sets the tone. About who establishes the frame. And most men don't lose this power because women take it from them. They lose it because they give it away. And they give it away through 3 deadly mistakes. Mistake 1, chasing instead of choosing. Chasing feels natural because it's what society drills into you. Movies tell you to run after her. Friends tell you to impress her. Social media tells you to prove you're good enough. But here's the truth. Chasing is not masculine. Chasing is desperation disguised as romance. When you chase, you're screaming a message without words. I need you to validate my worth. And women feel it instantly. She may smile. She may entertain the attention. But inside, her respect fades. Because she doesn't want to be worshipped like a goddess. She wants to be respected like a partner. And the man who chases too hard isn't respecting her. He's surrendering himself. Choosing, on the other hand, flips the script. A man who chooses doesn't ignore her beauty, but he doesn't lose himself in it. He observes, evaluatis. He asks, does this woman align with my mission? My peace, my standards? That shift creates magnetism, because women crave men who hold standards, men who know their worth, men who decide, not just react. So the first mistake is chasing, the cure is choosing. Mistake 2, confusing attention with love. This is the trap most men never escape. She texts you back. She laughs at your joke. She compliments your shirt. And suddenly, you're convinced she feels something deep. But attention is not love. Attention is cheap. It costs her nothing. For some women, attention is simply a game, a way to keep men orbiting around them, feeding their ego. And when you confuse attention with love, you surrender power. You start investing emotionally in someone who hasn't invested in you. You build castles in the air from crumbs of validation. This is why so many men find themselves stuck in limbo. They're not in a relationship, but they feel attached. They're not chosen, but they act as if they are. They give loyalty to someone who never committed to them in the first place. Love is proven in consistency. Love is proven in sacrifice. Love is proven when excitement fades and effort continues. A stoic man doesn't get hypnotized by attention. He doesn't build illusions from emojis and late-night texts. He measures investment. He measures consistency. He asks, is she building with me? Or is she just entertaining herself with me? Attention without commitment is manipulation. And when you fall for it, you hand over your power. Mistake 3, begging and emotional overreaction. The third mistake is the most destructive begging. No man begins his journey as a beggar. He began confident, focused, centered, but slowly. If he loses control of his emotions, he begins to surrender piece by piece. She pulls away a little, and he panics. She gets distant, and he overcompensates. She challenges him, and he pleads for peace. What he doesn't realize is that every time he begs, whether with words, actions, or emotions, he tells her, "You are my source of worth. Without you, I am nothing." And that kills attraction faster than anything else. Because neediness is not love, it's weakness. And weakness cannot inspire respect. A stoic man never begs. He communicates once. He sets a boundary. He expresses his standard. And if that standard is not met, he walks away with dignity. This is not coldness. It's clarity. It's self-respect. It's the refusal to let emotions control him. Women test. They always will. But the test is not to destroy you, it's to measure you, to see if you are steady, to see if you are worth following. If you beg, you fail. If you overreact, you fail. But if you stand firm, calm, unshaken, you pass. And when you pass, she feels admiration. And admiration is the soil of lasting attraction. Why these mistakes cost everything when you chase. You communicate desperation. When you confuse attention with love, you invest in illusions. When you beg, you destroy respect. Each mistake chips away at your frame. Each mistake hands her the power you were meant to hold. And here's the cruel twist: once you give away that power, it's nearly impossible to take it back. She may stay with you, but the dynamic has shifted. You are no longer the leader. You are the follower. And in time, that imbalance always collapses. The Stoic antidote. So what's the solution? Stop chasing. Choose wisely. Instead, stop confusing attention with love. Measure consistency, not intensity. Stop begging. Communicate once. Then walk with dignity. The Stoics taught that freedom comes from self-mastery. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And that is the key. You reclaim your power by reclaiming yourself, by mastering your emotions, by refusing to live for approval, by standing in your worth whether she stays or walks away. The 3 mistakes: chasing, mistaking attention for love, and begging are not just errors. They are symptoms of forgetting who you are. A man who knows his worth doesn't chase. A man who knows his worth doesn't confuse crumbs with a feast. A man who knows his worth never begs. And when you become that man, everything changes. Because then, she realizes the truth. She cannot control you. She cannot shake you. She cannot define you. She can only choose to join you or lose you. And that's when the balance flips back where it belongs. Here's a truth most men refuse to face. If your emotions control you, she can control you. And once she can control you, she won't respect you. She won't feel safe with you. She won't admire you. It doesn't matter how much money you make, how good you look, or how charming you are. If you collapse under emotional pressure, you lose your power. Why emotional control matters. Women don't crave men who are emotionless. They crave men who are emotionally strong. There's a difference. Emotionless is cold, detached, robotic. That doesn't build connection. But emotionally strong, that builds trust, that builds attraction, that builds respect. Because when you can feel deeply without falling apart, you show her something rare. You show her that you are grounded. You show her that you are unshaken. You show her that no storm can pull you from your center. That's what she leans on. That's what she needs. The cost of emotional weakness. Most men today overreact to everything. One text goes unanswered, and they spiral. One cold response, and they start begging for validation. One disagreement, and they argue like teenagers, desperate to prove a point. This is not strength. This is immaturity. And immaturity is poison to attraction. Because here's the truth. When a man loses his emotional control, she loses her attraction. She may not even understand why, but deep in her instincts, she feels it. She feels unsafe. She feels like she cannot rely on you. She feels like she's the one leading. And the moment she feels she has to lead you, she starts resenting you. The Stoic standard. The Stoics knew this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Most men live the opposite. They give their emotions away like currency. They allow her mood, her tone, her actions to dictate their peace. If she's happy, they're happy. If she's distant, they collapse. If she tests them, they panic. That's not power. That's slavery. The Stoic man understands nothing outside can shake me unless I permit it. No test. No silence. No rejection can move me from my frame. And when a woman meets a man like that, she feels something deeper than attraction. She feels respect. Real life picture. Picture this. She gets upset. She throws attitude. She says something sharp just to see how you'll react. The weak man snaps back, raises his voice, get defensive. He mirrors her chaos. And in that moment, she knows she can control him. His emotions are hers to play with. The needy man doesn't snap, he pleads. He apologizes for things he didn't do. He tries to fix every mood swing, just to keep the peace. And in that moment, she knows he's not leading. He's following her emotions, but the grounded man, he stays calm. He listens. He responds slowly. He doesn't mirror chaos with chaos. He doesn't collapse or beg. He stays centered. And in that moment, She feels a shift. She feels stability. She feels respect. She feels safe. That man passes the test, not because he fought back, not because he surrendered, but because he held his ground. Emotional control in action. Emotional control doesn't mean you never feel anger, sadness, or disappointment. It means you master those feelings. You don't let them drive your actions. Instead of snapping when she disrespects you, you set a boundary calmly. Instead of sulking when she pulls away, you continue your mission. Instead of panicking when she tests you, you breathe. You stay still. You show strength. This doesn't just apply to women. It applies to life, business setbacks, financial stress, family conflict. The man who loses himself to emotions loses everything. The man who controls his emotions can handle anything. That's why emotional control is power. Why women test. Many men hate the idea of tests. They see them as games or manipulation. But tests are not always conscious. They are instinctual. A woman needs to know if you're strong enough to lead. If you crumble at the smallest resistance, she knows. She cannot follow you into bigger battles. So she tests. She challenges. She disagrees. She pulls back. Not because she hates you, but because she needs to see if you are stable. Fail the test by overreacting, and she loses respect. Pass the test by staying grounded, and her admiration grows. The masculine burden. Here's the hard truth as a man. The burden of emotional leadership falls on you. She may bring energy, showers, emotion, passion, but you must bring stability. That doesn't mean suppressing her. It doesn't mean controlling her. It means balancing her. If she's angry, you don't fuel the fire. You absorb it. You redirect it. If she's sad, you don't collapse into despair. You stand firm. You support. If she's testing, you don't panic. You hold your frame, calm and steady. That is leadership. That is power. The shift to mastery. How do you develop emotional control, awareness? Notice your triggers. Know what throws you off balance. Discipline. Build habits that strengthen your body, mind, and finances, because weakness in any area bleeds into emotions. Reflection. Before reacting, pause. Ask yourself, am I acting from strength or from fear? Boundaries. Stop allowing disrespect. Respond calmly, but firmly. Detachment. Remember, her approval is not your oxygen. Your worth is not in her reaction. When you live by these principles, you stop being reactive. You start being unshakable. Emotional control is not about suppressing who you are. It's about mastering who you are. A man who cannot control himself will always be controlled by others. But a man who holds his frame, who stays grounded, who refuses to let emotions dictate his actions, that man is rare. And rare men are valuable. And valuable men don't chase. They attract. So remember this the next time your emotions scream at you to react. Pause. Breathe. Choose strength over impulse. Because in that moment, you are either handing away your power or reclaiming it. Here's something most men get wrong when a woman tests you. She's not always trying to hurt you. She's trying to find out if you can lead, and if you fail those tests. She doesn't just lose attraction. She loses trust. The nature of the test. Women test instinctively. It's not a calculated strategy. It's not something she wakes up and plans. It's part of her biology. Why? Because she needs to know if the man she's with is stable, if he can protect her peace, if he can stand strong when life gets hard. So the test comes. She challenges your opinion. She gets moody for no reason. She pulls back her energy. She questions your decisions. She disagrees, even when you're right. And here's the truth, none of this is about the moment. It's about your response. She's asking without words, can I trust this man's direction? How most men fail. Most men take tests personally. They get defensive. They panic. They chase. They argue. If she challenges them, they over-explain, trying to convince her. If she pulls away, they beg for attention. If she gets emotional, they mirror her emotions, escalating the chaos. And in that moment, she sees weakness. She sees a man who doesn't hold his frame, a man who is shaped by her moods, instead of standing firm in his own values. The irony. She doesn't even want that power. She doesn't want to control you. She wants to feel your stability. She wants to feel safe in your presence. But when you react emotionally, you fail the test. And the attraction fades not because she's cruel, but because her instincts tell her, this man cannot lead me. The leader she's searching for understand. This deep down, every woman is looking for a man who can lead not by force, not by dominance, but by clarity, direction, and strength. Leadership doesn't mean controlling her. Leadership means controlling yourself. It means holding your ground when things get messy. It means guiding the relationship without begging for validation. When she feels your leadership, she relaxes. Her tests stop. Her trust grows. She respects you more deeply. Because here's the paradox. The more you chase her approval, the less she gives it. The more you stand firm in who you are, the more she offers her respect freely. A real-life example. Imagine two men. The first man is dating a woman who suddenly pulls back. She becomes distant, colder than usual. Immediately, he panics. He sends long texts, calls repeatedly, asks what's wrong. He cancels his plans just to be available for her. She doesn't say it, but she feels it. He's not steady. He's reactive. His emotions rise and fall with her energy, and that makes her feel less safe. Not more. The second man faces the same situation. She pulls back, acte distant, but he doesn't panic. He notices, but he stays calm. He doesn't beg. He doesn't chase. He continues his mission, his life, his purpose. When she brings the attitude, he stays centered. When she pulls away, he lets her have space. And when she comes back, she feels it. He didn't collapse. He didn't need her emotional permission to remain grounded. He was steady, regardless of her storm. That man passed the test, and she knows it. Why tests are opportunities. Instead of fearing tests, start seeing them for what they are. Opportunities. Every time she tests you, you get to show her your strength. You get to show her your composure. You get to prove not through words, but through presence that you are a leader. When she challenges you, stand firm in your truth. When she pulls back, stay calm and focused. When she gets emotional, don't mirror the chaos, bring balance. These moments are not traps. They are chances to rise. Stoic perspective. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That's the essence of passing her tests. It's not about controlling her behavior. It's about mastering your own. A Stoic man understands that tests are inevitable. Instead of complaining, he welcomes them, because each test gives him another opportunity to demonstrate mastery, and mastery builds trust. Trust builds respect. Respect builds attraction, what she really wants. Many men think women want to lead. They don't. At least, not in the realm of attraction. A woman might be a CEO at work, a leader in her community, a powerhouse in her career, but in her intimate life, she wants to feel a man's presence. She wants to lean into his strength. She wants to trust his direction. That doesn't mean she wants to be controlled. It means she wants to feel safe enough to let go. But she can only do that if you prove yourself strong enough to hold the frame. And every test is her way of asking, "Are you strong enough for me to relax?" Failing with dignity, here's the truth: you won't pass every test. Sometimes you'll react. Sometimes you'll stumble. Sometimes you'll let emotions get the best of you. But here's what separates leaders from boys. Leaders fail with dignity. When you realize you overreacted, you don't grovel. You don't beg. You own it. You correct it. You move forward. Because even in failure, your composure shows her something. It shows her you're self-aware. It shows her you're accountable. It shows her you're willing to grow. That, too, is leadership. The final shift.